Hi everyone, and welcome to our green screen blender tutorial. We have recently started using green screens in our tutorial presentations and other 3D related projects. It has become quite an appealing way for us to work as it allows for a better presentation of our tutorial, and we can present content more interactively to you. The good thing is, even though there is a more revolutionary technology nowadays found in the form of LED panels and using real-time engines like Unreal, green screens are still going to be part of a VFX artist's toolkit for decades to come. Simply put, a working class guy like myself and you could not afford such technology as of yet. So we'll start off in Blender, and this time we do not need to kill the default cube. We can just move over to our compositing tab. These tabs are always at the top when you launch Blender. We want to tick the box called Use Nodes. We can now delete the render layer node and let us add a movie clip and a viewer node. I am using a video, so that is why I'm using this node, but you can use images as well for your project. Now we want to connect the movie clip to the composite and the viewer node. This way we can see the work we are doing, and we can also render it because we connected it to the composite. Remember that if you do not link to the composite, you will not render your work. I'm going to open a clip I have of Blue Nova, and so we can start working on it. This is a 4K clip that comes with a few challenges of its own. Firstly, it runs slower than normal 1080p video, so from a performance point of view. And now we can just connect it to the composite node, and we can also connect it to the viewer node. But let's add a keying node and a scale node as well. This ensures that our input is scaled to fit our render size, and you can set the scale to render size as well with the stretch option selected, so it will make our entire image look proportionately the way it should. Now our render settings are set to 1080p, so this scale node ensures that our 4K video will be of that size. When you're using the color picker, we can now set the key color to our green background so that Blender knows to eliminate this color. You can see we have a portion on the left side that is intentionally left there to allow me to teach you about masking. Now let us press the plus sign at the top of the screen, and from the VFX menu we can select masking. This will create a new viewport layout dedicated to masking. Now open up our clip that we brought in Blender and click the new button to create a new mask. Name this green screen. Press Shift A and we can add a square mask by doing this. This mask can be moved and scaled like any other shape in Blender. We want to encompass our subject within the mask. Using the left point of the mask, we want to drag our mask all the way to the left near the area that is not covered by our green screen. Back in our compositor screen, we can add a mask node and select our created green screen mask. Connect this to the garbage matte, and you will realize we need an invert node to invert our mask so it affects this green screen and not our subject. We also need to change our mask to fixed coordinates, and the resolution of your video, add the resolution of your video in those coordinates, not your render resolution but the footage that you've added in. So in this case, because it's obviously a 4K, then the resolution will be 1920 times 2 and 1080 times 2. So in this particular instance, that's 3840 and then 2160. And this will ensure that the mask is correctly applied to the content. And now you will be able to see that our green screen is still slightly visible. Time to fix this with a few adjustments that are very much case-by-case sensitive matter. You will always get a different result. Really depends on how you've set up the green screen and so on, but again it's a case-by-case sort of problem. We will also need to change, we will need to connect our edges to the viewer node so we can adjust them a bit more. This helps a bit, but we need more done for that green screen to completely disappear from our scene. Let us add an alpha overnode, which will allow us to replace the green screen with another color and it will also allow us to see the problem better as well. Depending where we are in the video, the green screen is visible due to the shadows casted on it when the video was made. You can see this in the area where the green screen is visible due to shadows, and we need a different setting to fix this. You can move along the video and then you'll be able to see this problem more and more. So we can increase, generally we can have to play with the options of the keying node as well to find the best solution. Normally what you would want to do is increase the clip black to around 0.3, and that should in essence resolve our issue. Again, this is a case-by-case problem that needs to be resolved on your own project if you have it. You can avoid this altogether by having an evenly lit green screen rather than having any type of shadows or having your subject close to the green screen itself. Now again, play with the settings until you find the right setup for your project. Also, very important to know, all of these settings can be animated so that you can get certain effects during the render of the video, thus being able to fix various parts of your footage with different settings that can directly change as the video plays. This is very important and it's used as a standard practice in the industry. It really makes everything a lot more dynamic, and Blender's composite system has a very nice and clean way of dealing with these problems as well. Now it's time to spice things up by adding a bit of a different background to our scene. With an image node, we will load a galaxy background. I will have to use another scale node for the image I just added, because otherwise then it will not look right with our footage that's 4K, this background being something like a 2K background, but again we're forcing it to be matching our rendered size. I will have to mix these two together by adding a mix node and a blur node as well for our background, so that we can place the focus more on our subject. Again, the mix, the alpha over has to be connected to our viewer in order to see it. And the mix node, like I've said, is very important that you have both of these connected into the same pool. Make sure that you change your mix node to an add, so that we can combine the two images together, and then you can play with the blur setting to maybe, I don't know, a value of 10, or maybe more, maybe less, really depends on what you're looking for. And for a more seamless transition between the background and the subject, we will play around with an erode node, which we can connect to our keying node by using the matte point of connection, and then we can connect all of that to our viewer node, and obviously don't forget to use a scale node in this, as that is your best friend to get a proper image rendered. Add a math node as well and set it to subtract. We want to use our image input for the subtraction calculation for now. We may need to change it depending on how the result is going to look like. We will want to set our erode node to feather mode and a distance of, let's say, -20. We can put our erode to subtraction to the scale node into our FAC. So we can put our erode to subtraction, so that's the next node, to then to the scale node into our FAC of the mix node. By doing this, we obviously create a nice effect. The magic now happens when we add another mix node and set it to multiply, and we're multiplying between the erode node and a black color. One change to make in our node setup would be to use the matte from the key node to be connected to our subtraction and not our erode node. Playing with the fax slider on our multiply mix node and the distance on our erode will blend the background and the subject a bit more. And then going forward from this, you will want to do some color corrections on both of our images. And color correction is something, you know, standard. It's something that you need to do in order to blend the multiple scenes together in a compositor, and they can be very very complicated process, but again, it's up to you as to how much time you want to dedicate to this. And then a color correction node has a lift, gamma and gain setting that you can play around with. So yeah, that will be what you'll need to do in order to achieve a proper result. Also bear in mind the color balance node can be used on each individual piece of your scene. It doesn't actually have to affect both at the same time, but for, you know, just for the time saving sort of method, I've combined both of our image and video in the same color balance, trying to unify them. But you can clearly see the effect that this is having, and it does unify the image a bit more. And also by using that erode node, we can get a very sort of nice casted light on our subject. It's not perfect, obviously there's a lot more work to be done in here to achieve a very good result, but this again comes down to using multiple options and being able to experiment in order to get a nice effect. Hope you guys really found this very useful, this tutorial to be very much to your liking, and that you've learned something. If you have, please leave a comment, please leave a like, please subscribe to our channel, please support us. We want to have more content for you, and definitely there will be some more coming up. I've got a very special video coming from Blue Nova on some other effects that we're doing right now, some VFX effects, so stay tuned for that. She's also going to show the people how she uses Photoshop in order to create pet portraits, and I'm currently working on some cinematic projects as well, you know, some animations. I'm hoping to start sharing some of that with you guys in the near future. So thank you for watching and take care.